kind of asked you this the other day, but just a little bit about Rich, and it's going to be his final home game too. What's that mean to you?
No, it's tough. When you see someone who's really put in their heart and soul into something, and someone who never probably got the credit or didn't want it for all he did for Iowa State women's basketball. And like I mentioned the other day, I think besides the players, he's done more for the growth of our program than anyone. And he's a part of he's in the fabric of everything we're about, everything we stand for, everything we believe in. And so many people's first connection, interaction, whatever word you want to fill in the blank with our program was listening to Rich on the radio, way before Twitter and Instagram and all that fancy stuff. So he's a special person, and will be connected to our program and our university for forever.
The senior day stuff that never gets easier for you, does it?
No, it doesn't. I'm a very senior-oriented person, always have been. And, when you think about someone coming here as a young person and their families allowing them to come here, leave home, and the investment that those kids make over 4 years, physically, mentally, emotionally, to be a part of this, it's always hard, but there's no one does it better than us. No one does a better senior day than Iowa State. And if you're a college basketball player, your career is going to end. And I don't know how it can get any better than ending it at Hilton Coliseum. It doesn't get much better than that. There's a lot of people don't get that opportunity, so it's always hard. But at the same time, that's the world we live in. And but Claire and Emily have done a lot for our university, done a lot for our program. They were great leaders this year in a year where we needed great leadership, and can't thank them enough for that, and their families for sharing their daughters with us for the last 4 years. And the impact they've made here has been dramatic, and it won't be forgotten.
What are you hoping to get out of these last few games?
I think kind of what we've been talking about. I think you want to play as well as you can. Obviously our season's going to end here shortly, but at the same time, for a lot of our kids, and I've told them this, the end of one season is the start of their next season. And I think the other thing is you want to play well. Most importantly, tomorrow you want to play as hard and as well as you can for your seniors and the fans. We got a chance to win 5 road games in the league, which is a nice accomplishment, and certainly then you go to the conference tournament. And the last time, I tell every team I've ever coached, the last time you walk out of a building and that's the end of your season or career, you want to walk out with your head up knowing that you did, you busted your butt and played as good as you could play. Everyone's going to lose their last game for the most part, and you just want to make sure that it's done with the right way, and hopefully we still have a little bit of basketball left in us that we can be proud of.
When you kind of talk about it, how it can be the start of something for people next season too, who are you kind of looking at that can kind of benefit from this time the most, maybe?
I think for sure, the freshmen, obviously, even though Maddie's played a lot. Really, Maddie, Ray, and Chris have all played, but I think, to see what it's like to go through an entire season, and now you know exactly what you need to do into the off season. But I think it's important for Bridget. I think it's very important for her to end the right way and take over the leadership of this team. I think it's important, for Mare, because I think Mare's been up and down, and I think for her to end on a positive note would be great motivation going into the off season. So there's a lot of them that I think can have some things go one way or the other that kind of sends you into the off season, because whenever the next game, whenever the season ends, whenever it is March, the next week, 10 days, whatever it is, they're not going to get to play again for 6-7 months. So you're going to live with it for a while, and you want to live with it in a manner of it's kind of like winning your bowl game. I mean, not to that degree, but I'm sure that a lot of the coaches will tell you that it was a lot easier for off-season conditioning and when our team won in Memphis. So you just want to end it in a manner that you understand what you can do, and you have a little bit of positive vibe that motivates you to do the work it's going to take in the offseason to be a better player.
We talked a lot about Emily, but maybe what is Claire, not so much on the court, but meant to this program?
No, I mean, Claire is someone that I think is what you want, what college sports is supposed to be about. It's not always about how much you played and how many points you scored, but did you have an impact? I mean, I tell kids all the time, you play 30 games a year, 35 games a year, whatever. Well, that leaves 330 days in a year where you can impact on a daily basis. And Claire is that kind of person. This program's a lot better off, and most people don't know that. Like I said, this team needed some leadership, some guidance, the way Iowa State does things more than maybe any team we've had here in a long time. And Claire was at the forefront of that, and we challenged her about that in the fall. She accepted that responsibility and, did literally anything we asked her to do to make the team better, the program better. And even though it's not going to show in some stat sheet or some record book, this program's in a lot better place than it was because of what Claire did this year.
Texas to the game.
We had to get to that at some point, didn't we?
Was able to get to the line, I think, 25 times last game. What do you guys try to do to limit their ability to do that?
I mean, Texas is a great team. Obviously, you just look at their roster, and it's scary how good they are and how well coached they are, how hard they play. I think for us, it's transition defense number one, defensive rebounding. Usually, when you're not getting back on defense and you're not defensive rebounding, usually means you're going to foul because you're scrambling to catch up. And then just be smart. I mean, as far as don't take a silly foul when the play's over. Don't get them in the double bonus early. That's something that we've been better at. That fifth foul with 4 minutes to go in a quarter kills you because now every foul is 2 shots after that. So, those things start to add up. So, just the things that we've talked about all year, it's a heck of a lot harder to do what you want to do against a great team. And certainly Texas is a team that I wouldn't be surprised you see them in the Final Four. They're that good. So we're going to have to play at our all-time best to be in the game.
Rotate Claire and Mayor kind of the same way you've been in the past?
Yeah, I mean, Claire will start the game tomorrow, obviously, on senior day. But, yeah, they'll play. We'll throw Kristen out there. Historically, even though Bridie, wasn't playing a ton or her production wasn't great, it's still another big body, and it's 5 more fouls. Usually when we play Baylor, when we play Texas, and we're just overwhelmed by size, foul trouble usually follows. And so we're going to need, 5 fouls from Claire and Mayor and Kristen, and you'll see her probably a little bit more than maybe you would have in the 5 spot, just because usually we run out of bodies against them, and hopefully we can stay out of foul trouble early enough to get those guys some quality minutes.
Kristen's played pretty well the last